Hey everyone, this is Luana Fiel, and thank you so much for joining on the broadcast. And those of you who are catching on the replay, I just wanted to say thank you for joining in. If you're hearing anything that you like, just definitely, if you can just like, comment, and share. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my personal story as an adoptive mom. All right, so here we go. So again, I'm Luana Fiel. I'm a wife and a mom of three. And let's start from the beginning. So about 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that did lead to a lot of issues with fertility for us. As a family, we did have some fertility struggles. And one of the things is that we definitely, even before we got married, before we even met each other individually, got a place in our hearts, a desire to adopt children. So my husband Albert wanted to adopt, I think he said from South America. And for me, my heart was, of course, with India. I always wanted to adopt some kids from India or Haiti, or, those are places that I've been and fell in love with the children. Anyway, so that was before we got married. And then when we did get married, again, it was definitely on our heart. We did have that discussion about children, about how many what we want to have, and about adoption. So when we did experience fertility struggles, it was definitely in the forefront of our mind. One of the things was, do we do it now? Do we adopt now, or do we wait? So we prayed, we sought the Lord, and after 5 years of marriage, we prayed, and we felt like that it was right timing. We actually moved upstate New York. We were in a better situation to start having kids, and so one of my prayers that my husband keeps reminding me of is I did pray for the Lord to fill our home, to fill all the rooms in our home, and He has done that. So let's start with basically when we started. We basically were led to a fostering event, and that was when our first daughter came home. So we did foster care training for about 6 months, with the home studies and things like that. And then when our home was open, I believe it was maybe a month or so, Chloe came home to us. So, so that basically started our journey. And a year later, our son came home. And then a year after that, our third daughter came home. So it's definitely been a roller coaster, a wild ride, but definitely something that I definitely would not trade it for anything, trade it in for anything in the world. What I would say is that the difficult part, I didn't expect, I wasn't going to cry, but the difficult part for me was dealing with the things that were spoken to me, that were, spoken to me about what we were doing, about foster care. A lot of people said so many negative things to us. People said so many negative things to me personally as a woman, which hurt. And some of the things I still haven't even shared with my husband or anyone else, because it was just, I was just blown away by what was said. And I just couldn't handle some of the things. And one of the things that I did experience, I would say by the time our second child came home, I was starting to experience a lot of sadness and a lot of depression, because I felt alone. I felt like there was nobody around that could really understand what I was going through, or I can even share the truth and be completely bare and completely honest with. And I felt so alone, and that really, I guess that made things worse for me, because I'm hearing these thoughts and whatever, and then on top of it, going through the roller coaster of itself of adoption, of fostering at that time was excruciating. We had so many things going on with our journey with that. So that was very hard for me to deal with as well. But then the most difficult thing, again, was just hearing people's thoughts saying to me, oh, now you can get pregnant. Oh, why would you do fostering when you can have your own child in so many ways? And just the boatload of questions, a boatload of things that people would just say without thinking. But for me, of course, I'm in the midst. I'm already an overwhelmed mom, with sleep deprived, and I felt like I was not honored as a mom. From the very first time our very first child came home, I felt like I wasn't honored as a mother. And as opposed to, having other, if you're having a friend, you see them have their first baby, their second baby, or whatever, everyone comes around them, and you see the expectation, the happiness, the joy. But for me, I was not surrounded by that. I was surrounded by a clamor of criticism, and it was very, very, very harsh, very difficult for me to go through. I guess as well, it was a little bit tough too, because we are transracial. That's what they call us. So I'm going to use the term to be politically correct here. But yeah, our children not all of them look like us, and we are a nice rainbow family, which I love, and it's definitely a blessing to me that these are our kids. So we were faced with that as well. So that being said, that led me into a spiral of depression, and by the time our third daughter came along, I hadn't even realized it. I basically felt numb. I was starting. I would still hear the noise. I would still hear the words people would say, and it would still hurt. But by the time my third daughter came along, I started to realize we had to do some stuff to help her naturally with her tummy issues. So once we did find a natural remedy, remedy to help her, out of that, I found a natural remedy for myself to help me get over that depression and get over that sadness I was experiencing. And I tell people to this day that even though you may be an adoptive parent, a foster parent, there are emotions that go along with it that a lot of people don't understand. And I want to encourage you that you find someone else who is a foster parent, who is an adoptive parent, and if they're open just to hear you, give you a listening ear, or even for me, if you want to send me a message, I would be a listening ear for you, because I didn't have that, when I was going through my own process, only until later on. And I thank God for my husband. He right before our third daughter came along, I did get through a very, very deep depression, and he basically found a Christian counselor close to our home, and she helped me to walk through the thoughts I was having, and it really did help me a lot. But one of the things that really helped me also is our third adoption was a private adoption, and it was a completely different process. We had a wonderful adoption worker who was sent by God. Let me tell you, whenever she came into our home, she somehow knew, I don't know how, definitely by God speaking to her, exactly what we needed to hear, words of encouragement, things that she would say that I would just be bawling during our home visit when she's supposed to be asking us questions to complete our home study. She would basically be there speaking words of life to us, and it was such a blessing. So fast forward again to when our third daughter came home. And again, I'm just in a blur. I didn't really even realize how I was affected and how my emotions were, that I was feeling sad and I was really down. I really didn't even, I wasn't processing it correctly. I was stuffing everything down and just basically getting through the day. But by the time Ariel came home, again, she was not well. She had some tummy issues. So we got some natural stuff that helped her. And as a part of it, some of the natural remedies I was using for her, they were actually working for me. And I was so blessed by that. It really helped me significantly, and helped to clear the fog, helped to elevate my mood, helped to balance my emotions. And all I have to say is how grateful I am for that season. So now, fast forward 2.5 years later, are through the process of fostering, and now it's been brought through to completion, and our our two older children are now fully adopted. They were officially adopted. They carry our name, which we are so blessed by, and now we are just moving on with our lives as an adoptive family. We do have, of course, challenges ahead. We know things that we have to look forward to, and so we pray over our children constantly, and encourage them and talk to them and to help to raise them up, and really being led by God. But long story short, I'm going to share a little bit more about what helped me a lot with my mood and with my depression a little bit later, or actually another broadcast, because this one's getting ready to shut down here. But I just wanted to express that if you know a foster mom, if you know an adoptive mom, please be kind. Watch your words. Think about what you're saying. Would you say that to yourself in that situation? Open your mind and see what that mom or father is going through, because it is tough. It's a very bold thing to do. Some people don't even tell people they're fostering until the situation changes, and if they're working towards adoptive process. It's a shame, because it's a beautiful process. It's a beautiful experience, and more people should do it. But it's tainted by a lot of people's negative emotions and negative thoughts. But I want to tell you, if you know someone who's doing this, bless them, bless them, bless them, love on them. You don't have to give things, just give your love, give your words, give your time. If you are able to help them in some way, please do. But above all, watch your words, encourage, bless, be an encouragement. So that's it for today. My next broadcast, I'm going to share a little bit more about some of my natural remedies that I use to help me with my depression and with my sad mood. All right. So thank you so much for listening. And if you like what you hear, if you know someone who can be encouraged and blessed by this, please just share that with them. Comment, but I welcome your comments as well. And I just want to say thank you again, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.